ജനറ്റിക്സിലെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ് ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ചോദ്യങ്ങളിലേക്ക് കടക്കാം. ഒന്നാമത്തെ ചോദ്യം, മെൻഡൽ കണ്ടക്റ്റഡ് എക്സ്പെരിമെൻറ്റ്സ് ഓൺ ഓപ്ഷൻ ബി പീ പ്ലാന്റ്. The law of segregation is also called option A, law of purity of gametes. Phenotypic ratio in monohybrid crows is 3:1. Test crows was introduced by Morgan. Genotypic ratio in monohybrid crows is 1:2:1. Incomplete dominance was first observed in Mirabilis jalapa. Co-dominance is seen in ABO blood group. Complementary gene interaction gives ratio 9:7. Duplicate dominant epistasis gives ratio 15:1. Recessive epistasis ratio 9:3:4. Dominant epistasis ratio 12:3:1. Pleiotropy means one gene controls many traits. Polygenic inheritance is controlled by many genes. Skin color in human is an example of polygenic inheritance. The ratio of dihybrid crows is 9:3:1. Linkage was discovered by Morgan. Crossing over occurs during packaging. Chiasmata are visible during diplotin. Unit of genetic mapping is centimorgan. Recombination frequency of 1% equals 1 centimorgan. Complete linkage occurs commonly in male Drosophila. Crossing over increases variation. Cytoplasmic inheritance is also called maternal inheritance. Mitochondrial inheritance is usually maternal. Leaf variegation in Mirabilis is due to plastid gene. Transformation was discovered by Griffith. Conjugation in bacteria was discovered by Lederberg and Tatum. Transfer of gene through bacteriophage is transduction. F factor is associated with conjugation. Temperate phage is associated with lysogenic cycle. Virulent phages undergo lytic cycle. DNA structure was proposed by Watson and Crick. DNA is made up of nucleotides. Adenine pairs with thymine. RNA contains uracil. mRNA carries genetic information. tRNA functions in translation. rRNA is a component of ribosome. DNA replication is semi-conservative. Okazaki fragments occurs in lagging strand. Mutation theory was proposed by De Vries. Mutagen causing mutation. All of these: UV rays, X-rays, chemicals. Point mutation affects point mutation affects single nucleotide. Sickle cell anemia is caused by point mutation. UV radiation commonly causes pyrimidine dimers. Xeroderma pigmentosum results from defect in DNA repair. Genetic code is universal. Start codon is AUG. Stop codons are UAA, UAG, UGA. Central dogma was proposed by Crick. Transcription is synthesis of RNA from DNA. Translation occurs in ribosome. Lac operon was proposed by Jacob and Monod. Operator gene is part of operon. Post-transcription and translationലെ ചോദ്യങ്ങളാണ്. Removal of intron is splicing. Capping occurs at 5' end. Polyatyl occurs at 3' end. Post-translational modifications include option D, all of these. Post-translation modification includes glycosylation, phosphorylation, cleavage. അടുത്ത ചോദ്യം ജീൻ സിന്തസിസ് ഖൊറാന ആൻഡ് കൊറൻബർഗിലെ ചോദ്യങ്ങളാണ്. ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ജീൻ സിന്തസിസ് ഈസ് അസോസിയേറ്റഡ് വിത്ത് ഖൊറാന. DNA polymerase 1 was discovered by Khorenberg. Next, population genetics la Hardy-Weinberg law explains genetic equilibrium. Hardy-Weinberg equation is p square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. p square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. Random change in gene frequency is genetic drift. Founder effect is related to genetic drift. Inbreeding increases homozygosity. Universal donor option D, O. Universal recipient AB. RH factor was discovered in rhesus monkey. MN blood group exhibit codominance. Down syndrome is trisomy 21. Turner syndrome XO. Klinefelter syndrome XXY. Pedigree analysis is useful in tracing inheritance. Color blindness is X-linked recessive. Hemophilia is X-linked recessive. Human Genome Project officially started in 1990. Human Genome Project was completed in 2003. Total number of human chromosomes 46. Human haploid chromosome number 23. Approximate number of gene in human 20,000 to 25,000. സോ ഇത്രയുമാണ് ജെനറ്റിക്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ചോദ്യങ്ങളിൽ കൊണ്ടുവന്നിട്ടുള്ള ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ. ഇത്രയും ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് നിങ്ങൾ വർക്കൗട്ട് ചെയ്യുക. കിട്ടാത്ത ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ നിങ്ങൾ അപ്പം തന്നെ പഠിച്ചെടുക്കാനായിട്ട് ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുക. ഓക്കെ, താങ്ക് യു.